What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 14, you guys. Episode number 6, you guys. Titled, Don't Be Sea Salty. Alright, you guys. So, before we jump into this review, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel, and you're not subscribed, I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date, having me pay for it at the end of it. Do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to my channel, turning on your post notifications, and sharing the video, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's discuss The Real Housewives of Atlanta, shall we? Alright, you guys. So, I didn't watch this episode live last night. I just watched it today. And I did see a lot of y'all, because I was looking at my timeline, a lot of people were upset about this episode. And Candy was talking about Marlo, and Marlo was subtweeting her on Twitter last night. Damn, I see what was going on. So, let's start the episode. Let's talk about Cheray. So, you guys know Cheray is back from Philadelphia, being stood up by Tyrone. She's talking to her daughter, Tiara. Now, when Cheray was talking to her daughter, you would think that after being humiliated so publicly, that Cheray would be just 100% done with Mr. Tyrone, but she's not. Cheray said that he called her. He gave her some kind of bullshit reason why he didn't make it. There's nothing you can say to me. You made me sit there and look like a fucking fool. And you saw the pictures that people took of me sitting at that table by myself. It was all over every blog. There's absolutely nothing that Tyrone could say to me that would make me make me be like, oh, let me forgive you, let me talk to you, let me do this to you. So Cheray said that she told him, I'll reach out to you later, but she didn't reach back out to him. But from how Cheray's talking, it doesn't seem like she is ready to just close that chapter with Tyrone. It's like, Cheray, you look foolish. First of all, you waited for this man while he was in prison. Then he get out of prison, he's at a halfway house. So you waiting on the man that got to ask for permission to leave a halfway house? Absolutely not. Then when you go see the man, he lies and give you a bullshit ass reason of why he couldn't come to New York when you said that he had a 100-mile radius. The difference between Philadelphia and New York was 94 miles. That man had enough time, that man had enough mileage to come and see you. He chose not to. Then you took your ass up to Philadelphia to see him. He didn't want to see you. Now, if it's a thing where he couldn't be on camera, I would respect it so much more if you say, hey, we don't want to risk him being on camera for whatever reason. If you say that, I'll be like, okay, cool, that's fine. I can understand that. But just ghosting her and you still thinking about talking to him, you's a fool. You's a whole fool. But you guys, that's it with Cheray. Let's move forward and talk about Kenya. So we see Drew and Kenya. So Drew and Kenya, they went out with each other, and I will say though, this season it is nice to see Drew and Kenya interacting with each other. And you guys, the interesting thing with Kenya this season is Kenya has not annoyed me as much as she normally does. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm Team Twirl, but Kenya has not annoyed me this season, so it's kind of surprising, because most seasons Kenya gets on my nerves, but this is the first season that I can say Kenya hasn't annoyed me. So her and Drew, like I said, they having lunch. So Kenya, and it made sense to me why Kenya wants for Brooklyn to have a relationship with Mark. It's because Kenya didn't have that relationship with her mother, and I think she doesn't want Brooklyn to go through the things that she went through as a child and as an adult woman. And I can understand that. You guys, I told you guys know my story. I don't know my biological father, but I do know my biological mother, and our relationship is not the best. But that's why I also think that Kenya needs to find a way to work through those issues that she has with her mother. Sit down with a therapist or a psychiatrist. Kenya needs some, because that's something that's internal and it's very deep. And I think Kenya just needs to work on that, because it still plagues her, and it's something that she deals with. I think Kenya needs to sit down and just talk to somebody about that situation, because like I said, I dealt with it with my mother, and it took me some time. It took me years to kind of come to the realization that the issues that we have between us, it's not my fault. It's nothing that I've done, even though I do have a sharp tongue, but it's nothing that I've done that can't be forgiven. So, I think Kenya just needs to sit down and talk to someone about the issues that she has with her mom. I really do, and I think it'll, because I used to be so upset so upset with my birth mother. I used to just, anytime you would mention her name, I would fly off the top. I would just fly off just fly off. But I had to say, what? Forgive her, not for her, not to say you forgive her for herself. Do it for yourself, so that way you can live your life and you can move on with your life. And that's exactly where I'm at in my life. So if I have kids, and for whatever reason, they don't have, if, let's just say I, have biological kids and their mother says, hey, I want to be a part of their lives, I'd be like, what, that's fine. Me and my kids, we're gonna be fine. But you can do you, because I'm not saying Kenya doesn't love herself, but like I said, I think Kenya just still has that. I think it's still that hurt little girl that's inside of her. I think that's what still plays Kenya, is that hurt, the hurt side of her, because she said that Brooklyn spent the night for the first time with her dad. That's kind of sad. That is very sad. So Drew thanks Kenya for, speaking up for her when they were out there in New York. And then they talk about this situation between Drew and Sanya. And to be quite honest with you guys, the situation with Drew and Sanya, I'm still on Drew's side. I don't understand what Sanya's issue is with Drew. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, when you just literally sit down and think about it, what beef does Sanya have with Drew? None. It's like you're grasping for straws. I think there are two people on this show this season that are trying to make sure that their peaches are safe for another season. Sanya is one of them, and the other one is Marlo. I think that those two are really trying to make sure that their peaches are, secure, and so that they don't sour and they lose their peach next season. But, I mean, whatever. So they talk about this event, this little thing that Sanya is having the next day. She originally invited Drew to it, but then she sent Drew a text message and she uninvited Drew. Now, I'm sorry, that is tacky as fuck. If you invite me somewhere and then you text me the day before saying, oh, I don't think you should come. See, Sanya's lucky that it's Drew and not me, because I would have cussed Sanya's ass out in that text message. I would have been like, look her, bitch. How the fuck you gonna invite me somewhere, ask me to come somewhere? You don't know what the fuck I had. Like, I probably had shit to clear in my schedule to come to your funky ass shit, and then your raggedy ass gonna send me this motherfucking text message the day before saying, oh, I don't want you to come. Girl, fuck you. Like, literally, fuck you. It would be fuck you. Like, that is so fucking disrespectful. That is a pet peeve of mine. Don't invite me somewhere and then at the last minute bail. Bitch, my time is valuable. My time is valuable. Like, fuck that. I don't see it for Sanya. Sanya is not for me. I can tell you that right now. Sanya ain't for me. But let's pause here, you guys, and move forward. So next up, you guys, Marlo. So Marlo and Kenya, they were on a FaceTime with each other, and they were talking about the fact that they want to do something for Cheray, and it'll just be those three, Marlo, Kenya, and Cheray, because they're the single ones. Whereas Sanya's married, Kenya is married. Nope. Well, technically Kenya is married, but she is single. But Candy's married, Sanya's married, Drew's married. So it's gonna be just the single girls getting together. So the day of, now this is I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this in just a minute when I talk about it. So Kenya called Marlo. Well, actually Marlo must have called her on FaceTime. Kenya was in bed, but I did notice that Kenya's face was full of makeup. I'm like, so your face is beat. And I'm not saying, and it could have happened that Kenya could have got sick, and she, she had already got her makeup done, and she just got. I mean, that could happen. You could get food poisoning. You could be getting your makeup done and be like, oh shit, my stomach. Like, girl, what the fuck is going on with my stomach? And then, so it's possible. I just had a question about what she did later in the episode, but we'll talk about that in just a second. So Kenya told Marlo that she's gonna send Drew over with some stuff. So Drew stops by with the stuff from Kenya. So then they talk about the situation with Sanya and how Sanya disinvited, Drew from her event. And Marlo was like, so who did she invite? And Drew was like, well, I think she invited Kenya and Candy. And they were like, Kenya and Candy? And they were like, oh, the girls with the most followers. And you can see it. Candy has the most of the girls. Then it's Candy. Then after it's Candy, then it's Kenya. Then after that, I don't know how the hell they fall. But I think they all got over 1 million followers. So I'm like, damn. But whatever. So after, while Drew is there, Marlo calls Cheray, tells her that there's a car outside that she sent for her, and for her to get in the car and come over there. Now I will say though, I did like this little setup that Marlo did for Cheray. Had the Fendi guy there, had somebody there to get the massages, had the food set out for her. It was cute, and I like the fact that she was, uplifting Cheray, telling her, I'm not gonna judge you, but that shit with Tyrone, you need to be done with him. Absolutely, be done with him. So let's pause here, you guys, and wrap up the episode with Sanya. I don't even know why I'm wrapping it up with her, but I'm wrapping it up with Sanya. So, Sanya, like I said earlier, I'm just not feeling Miss Sanya at all. Like I said, this issue with Drew, it just makes absolutely no sense. You have an issue with Drew because of Cheray, because of her putting her hands in Cheray's face, because of Anthony talking to Drew about Cheray not paying, but that's been in the blogs for years about Cheray and her not being able to pay people. But then on the same token, Anthony had a conversation with Cheray about Drew and Ralph, and Cheray took it to her friend Fathom, whatever the woman's name is. So, isn't that a contradiction? Exactly. It's exactly what it is. So she's doing her photo shoot for her Mommy Nation blog she has. I'm with Kenya and Candy. Girl, you are not gonna ask. Now, you asked us to come down here. You did not mention to us that you wanted us to model for your stuff, and then for the Black Friday sale, girl, miss me with that. Run me a check. Run me my money. Run me my fee. So Sandy's talking to them. She's telling them, since she didn't invite Drew, she thought it would be best to get all the girls together so that way she could talk to Drew, and that way she could pull Drew to the side and have a conversation with Drew. And I'm like, that don't make no fucking sense whatsoever. You told Drew that this wasn't the great place to have. It wasn't good for her to come there about because you don't want to have the conversation. But then you have the conversation in front of the women in New York, but you didn't pull Drew to the side. But now you want to pull Drew to the side at your event. Where's the logic at in that? I'm trying to find the logic in pulling Drew to the side now. You have more than one opportunity to pull Drew to the side. So where's the logic in that, Sanya? Please express where's the logic, because I don't find it, I don't follow it, and I don't understand it. So Kenya tells the ladies about Cheray when she went up to Philly and Tyrone ditched her. So then we see Sanya and her mom, so they're out shopping, and she's talking about Drew. And I'm like, wow, are you obsessed with Drew? Because it's really giving borderline obsession with Drew. I don't know you don't really have a legitimate issue with Drew. It's like you pulling teeth at this point. Like, what is your real beef with Drew? And y'all can say, I know people gonna say, well, she was on Speak On and she talked about it. I don't give a damn. Because nothing she says can make sense to me. Period. That's all I gotta say. So she says that she felt like so she texts all the ladies to invite them to this thing that she's having. Drew hit her back with the, you didn't invite me to, you didn't feel like it was good for me to come to your event yesterday. Well, I don't feel like it's good for me to come to this one. And I'm in agreement with Drew. Like, I agree with Drew on that situation, but Miss Sanya believes that Drew is What did she say? I want to get her words correctly. Drew is making the drama. I'm like, how is Drew making drama? If you sit here and tell me, the day before not to come to your photo shoot, I'm like, okay, cool. But then you say, oh, but I want to get us together. I want to get all of you ladies together, including you, Drew, so that way we can talk about the situation. I'm gonna hit you back with the fuck you. I'm not coming. Like, you didn't invite me to this you invited me to this photo shoot, and then you uninvited me, but now you want me to come to some kind of fucking dinner? Girl, take that food and choke on it. Take that food and shove it take that food and do like what you did with that damn vibrator, just digging in your panties. Ugh, I still can't get over her digging in her goddamn panties. Nasty ass. That is just some nasty shit. And then you didn't even wash your motherfucking hands. Girl, I wouldn't eat nothing from Sanya. I don't give a fuck who cooked it. I wouldn't eat a motherfucking thing that Sanya offered to me after seeing you dig down in your goddamn panties and you didn't wash your goddamn hands. Girl, I wouldn't eat a piece of lettuce from you. I wouldn't eat. If you gave me a ketchup packet and said you can have this, I would throw the ketchup package back at you and tell you, fuck no. Fuck no. I don't like seeing you. I really don't like seeing you guys. I don't like her. She's giving fake. And y'all can say Drew is fake too, but they both fake. If you want to say fake, they both can be fake. But Drew ain't started nothing with Sanya. That is the one thing that I can say about Drew. Drew has not started it with Sanya. So the ladies all show up to Sanya's event minus Drew. I didn't blame Drew. So Marlo was going to tell the ladies about, Cheray. She's like, what can I tell her? Well, Ken said, I've already told the ladies. She's like, oh, I didn't know we were doing that. Okay. Cheray, girl, it was all over the blog, so girl, go to hell. So then she was like, so Candy, you knew? And you didn't even reach out to me? And Candy was like, well, you don't really show emotion, so I was just kind of waiting for you to say something to me, and I was going to respond. Cheray. I can't with Cheray right about now. I cannot with Cheray. I cannot with Cheray. She's like, and even Drew reached out to me. Okay, that is Drew. Candy is not Drew. So what the fuck you want from her? So then she mentions the fact that Kenya didn't show up to Marlo's house, and Kenya was like, well, Cheray, and she said, and your face was beat. She said, yes, my face was beat. She said, the doctor called me and told me that I needed to take a test. I took a test, and now, here's the thing that I'm asking a question about. What kind of test was it? Was it a COVID test? Because if it was a COVID test, then, yeah, keep your distance. But also, in the same breath, when was that event? When was the thing that Marlo had? What day was that? And what day is this? Because you still talking about you sick and you here. I was with Candy. I don't want to get sick. Like, girl, and you coughing. I think the fuck not. Kenya, if you sick, girl, go the fuck home. No. We ain't playing that game. So they then talk about the fact that Sanya she didn't invite Drew, but then Cheray and Marlo was like, wait a minute, but you didn't invite us either, so you just invited those two? And so Marlo feels like it's fake and it's clout. I agree. So this is why I saw a lot of people were upset on social media last night. So Marlo and Cheray went outside and had a conversation about they talked about how fake they think Sanya is because you only know Candy for 2 weeks, but now you super close with her. So then Marlo and Cheray went outside and talked. This is the issue that I do be having with Cheray. So Cheray had an issue with the fact that Drew went and asked Candy what she thinks she should have done with the Anthony situation, but you were upset because Candy didn't bring it back to you. But then here you are with Marlo, and Marlo is talking cash money shit about Candy, and you just sitting here laughing. This is the third time that you've done this. You did that with Kim's racist ass. You did that with Phaedra and Portia, and now you're doing it with Marlo. And then like I said, people were upset last night about Marlo. Marlo is nasty. Marlo goes low. Marlo has always been nasty and gone low. What show have y'all been watching? Marlo, I've said it, I don't know how many times. Marlo does not know how to read. Marlo is just a type of person that'll hit you with a low blow. And y'all are upset with her about that. Because Marlo called Candy a hoe. I mean, haven't these women called her a hoe? I mean, these women have called her a hoe. I mean, let's go back to the season 10 reunion when Kenya told her that she got a square reader between her legs. She told her she got a square reader between her legs, but y'all laughed at that. Y'all laughed at the shit last season with her and when Marlo and Kenya were coming against Portia. Y'all laughed at that shit. Y'all was like, yeah, get her. But now this season when she calls Candy a hoe, saying her pussy one, I thought that, I'm like, well, damn, bitch, tell us how you really feel. She said her pussy wasn't good, and Candy always fucking under her tax bracket. She called Kenya a video hoe who couldn't get a ring. I'm just sorry. What did y'all expect from Marlo? Literally, what the fuck did y'all expect from Marlo Hampton? Marlo Hampton has never been known for reads. Ever. Marlo gets read. So I'm just kind of confused what people are upset about. Very confused. Very confused. But hey, that's it, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on your post notifications and share the video, you guys. And until the next time, stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands, you guys. Socially distance. Be blessed. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.